Movie, film. Movie, film.
Is it a movie,
film,
or a film?
Film.
Is it a movie,
Great movie.
or a film?
Fascinating
Is it a
film.
movie,
Love that movie.
or a film?
Haven't heard of that
Is it a
film.
movie,
It's my favorite
or a
movie.
film?
Thrillers are sick.
Hey, MFers. Good news. You can't get sick while listening to your favorite podcast. And although this won't be a distraction from what's going on in the world, we at least hope that you find some entertainment on this episode of MovieFilm.
Film. It's a podcast where we pick a flick and decide if it's a movie or a film.
Correct.
I'm Nate, and disease is the crime. I'm the cure.
And I'm Terrill, and I'd rather die than become what you are.
Oh, what's that?
That's from the movie I watched last night. Ginger Snaps.
Okay.
Yeah. I like the name because it's like, her name's Ginger, and
It's
like the tree,
it's a good
but
play on words.
she snaps. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah. What's yours?
Osmosis Jones.
Ooh, nice one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glad you like it. There are a couple of good quotes from that. It's hard to choose one.
Right. I was wondering where you were gonna go with that.
Well, I went inside Bill Murray's body
Go inside Bill Murray.
for a crime-fighting bacteria, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Mhm.
We're talking about Contagion today.
Yes, we are.
But first, it's been 2 weeks since we've recorded live. Well, live in quotations.
Yeah.
It's been 2 weeks since we talked about trailers, so we got some.
Mm-hmm.
We got a nice little backlog.
Yes, we do.
So we did get to talk about Candyman, because that came out right in time.
Right in time.
But we did not get to talk about
What didn't we get to talk about?
Connected.
Connected?
Yeah, it's an animated movie.
Oh yeah.
From,
yeah. Is
what's the studio? I
It's
don't even know.
it's the one where the dad is like anti-technology, right?
Yeah, it's like a dad is sending his daughter off to college, and it's like, millennials and their technology.
Right.
And then he decides, instead of sending her on a plane, they're going to road trip.
Yeah.
So, family road trip,
Mhm.
but a little twist.
Little twist.
It's a robocalypse.
There we go.
The robot apocalypse.
Yeah. It's a lot of
Yeah.
yeah. So it starts out as a normal family like road trip. And then it turns into a wacky adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks, it looks,
I don't know. It's like one of those movies where a dad was just like, you know what? I'm tired of my kid always being on their phone. I'm going to make a movie about this. And this is what they came up with.
Yeah, it seems like since it goes in the direction of there's actually a robot uprising, I guess the dad was right the whole time.
Technology is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be in the first in line to see this, but I do like the cast. We got Danny McBride as the dad.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Abby Jacobson, Eric Andre, Maya Rudolph, and Olivia Colman are also
Nice.
in
I like
it. So,
Eric Andre.
yeah, it's a good.
Yeah. I also like the animation style of it as well.
It was okay. Yeah, not trying to be realistic in the portrayal of humans. More cartoony.
Yeah.
We had another Eric Andre trailer.
Yeah, we do.
Bad Trip.
Mm-hmm.
From the guys that brought you Jackass and Bad Grandpa.
Yeah, it looks like Jackass. It looks like a Jackass like production.
Yeah, so did you see that movie Bad Grandpa?
No, I
Johnny
didn't.
Knoxville. So it's like the guys that did Jackass tried to make like a narrative feature
Yeah,
comedy.
like a real movie.
So it's like they have stunts, but it's like there's stunts spread out through like improv.
There's stunts in
story.
Bad Grandpa. You're talking about
yeah.
Bad Trip.
No, Brad Grandpa, and then also Bad Trip. They're taking that formula now.
Okay.
With Eric Andre, and it's like if you watch the Eric Andre show on Adult Swim, it's definitely a wider audience, but it's a lot of the same vibes as his crazy stunts on that show.
That's cool that they could link up and make that happen.
Yeah. Tiffany Haddish in there, Lil Rel.
Yeah. Good casting. I'm not a big fan of real react, like people reaction type stuff.
Because it's like manipulative?
Yeah, it's manipulative.
Yeah.
And all I can think about is I hope those people, like, before they signed anything, got paid, because
probably not.
That type of movie relies on them a lot more than, like, Tiffany Haddish and Eric Andre. I mean, they're the draw, but, like, you're going to be laughing at how the people react.
Right.
Yeah.
Borat did it too, but I love that movie. And that's also, like, he's a huge character. And
he does that, though. That's, like, his thing. That's his style.
Yeah,
it's like,
Sacha Baron Cohen does that, I think, very successfully.
Yeah.
We'll see how this one is. The worry also is that just all the stunts are in the trailer. So there's no room left for surprise. I mean, the bit with him turning on the vacuum for the car, but then his whole jumpsuit gets sucked in and he's naked. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it wouldn't be right if Eric Andre didn't end up naked somehow.
With his genitals tucked between his legs. That's like his go-to.
Yeah, that's why. I was going to say that's why Lion King failed, but I mean, his character was naked as well.
Well,
it's an animal.
The animals don't wear clothes.
Yeah, I mean, some animals wear clothes.
Yeah. Speaking of Disney, though, they tried with A Wrinkle in Time a few years ago, and that bombed. But they're going back into the YA fantasy
and they are
live action territory with an adaptation of Artemis Fowl. Are you familiar with the Artemis Fowl series?
I am not at all.
So I remember in, like, elementary school, the Scholastic Book Fair coming, and the Artemis Fowl books were always, like, a little too thick for me to pick up, like, a little intimidating and, like, very fantasy, but they had super shiny covers, so I always thought they were cool. Didn't know anything else about it. According to the trailer, it's a spy kid.
Yeah, it's like Spy Kids.
It seems like Spy Kids.
Cody Banks meets Percy Jackson.
Yeah, with, like, with fantasy elements.
Yeah. All I can do is, like, laugh at it because I know that I'm not the audience, and I'm like, I'm not. I would just be like, if I was a kid, I'd probably be into this. I'd probably be like, ooh, but like, I'm just, like, not buying it as, like, an adult. Yeah.
We'll see if I'm sure Disney hopes it turns into a whole series.
No.
Because I think there's quite a few books. What else? There were more trailers than that.
Well,
The High Note.
Oh yeah, The High Note
with Dakota Johnson and
Tracy
what's her name?
Ellis
Diana Ross's daughter. Yeah,
Tracy Ellis Ross,
channeling her mother Diana Ross. It seems playing.
This is like her
soul singer
first movie. I want to say
certainly her first with a leading role.
Yeah, because she's a TV actress. TV is like her home. That's where she like shines the most. So it is really good to see her because I know she's like a very funny lady.
Yeah, she's got all the laughs in the trailer,
even
though it seems to be like a story told from Dakota Johnson's character's perspective. Seems kind of like a Devil Wears Prada type of thing.
Yes.
And I like these movies that take like the rom-com structure, but it's not about like a romantic relationship, but like women in the professional world. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm buying this trailer, honestly.
Yeah, it seems cute. It seems cute. You know what I mean? It's gonna have Ice Cube in there as well.
Oh, true.
You know what I mean? He's gonna also be providing some laughs. Yeah. So.
Yeah, music.
Yeah, music.
I like
it's cool. Yeah, I like to think about
like an aging artist trying to make new music, but only wanting to be the public only wants their old stuff. It seems.
Yeah. All I could think about was Diana Ross as well, but I like how they're not pushing that look on her, like big hair, big outfits, kind of like she has like slick back hair,
right?
Which is the opposite of her mother.
True,
for the most part.
True.
So, yeah.
Last trailer we got, which is unfortunately will be a pretty good transition into the next thing we'll talk about, but Greyhound.
Yeah.
Is a movie starring by and written by Tom Cruise. And surprise, he's playing a captain of a ship.
You said Tom Cruise.
Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks. I get my Tom.
I said, wait, what?
Yeah.
Did I get that wrong?
It's Tom Hanks. Tom Cruise isn't writing any screenplays. No, Tom Hanks holed up in his giant house probably with one of his vintage typewriters that he loves and typed out a screenplay. where, he plays a very Tom Hanksy role.
Yeah, he's the captain.
He's the captain now.
He's the captain now. It looks, and it's about, what is it about? It's based on a true event.
So the only thing more dangerous than the front lines is the way to the front lines, getting there.
Yeah. So it's like ships versus submarines. It looks like,
Yeah. Naval warfare.
Yeah. It looks, I'm into it.
Yeah, you are.
I don't know. I bought into it. I was buying it. I was like, okay, this looks kind of fun. Because like it's based on a true event, but they don't present it like in this like very serious, dramatic tone. It seems just like a blockbuster type of movie.
It does,
and it's like a little bit gritty. It's dark. You know what I mean? And like they're playing the submarine like the villain, like a shark. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's entertaining, interesting.
Submarine is like a shark.
Yeah, but it's a wolf. It's a wolf shark. It's a wolf shark submarine trying to kill Tom Hanks.
Not Tom Cruise.
Not Tom Cruise.
Well, I like Larry Crown, which he also wrote, and he directed that one. Not directing this one. Just visually, this looks just super bleak and kind of dull to me.
Yeah,
I don't like the look of most war movies that are about like the actual battles.
Okay.
I don't know. Just like if 1917 didn't do it for me, I don't think Greyhound will.
Right. They're gonna be two completely different vibes, though.
It reminds me of like the boat sequences in Dunkirk, which I did like that, but I don't know.
Yeah, this
guy that directed this that hasn't directed much else.
Yeah,
is no Christopher Nolan. So
yeah, he has an Oscar though. So
what's his Oscar for?
A short. He did a short.
Oh, okay.
About, I think it's called Two Soldiers.
Fascinating.
Yeah, and he's a cinematographer as well. So maybe he did the cinematography as well.
Maybe.
Yeah, but this is a perfect transition because
this is some movie news.
Yeah,
Tom Hanks has contracted. Him and his wife Rita Wilson.
Yeah,
are tested positive for coronavirus.
Yeah, that's a big thing that's happening up in the world right now.
Yeah,
yeah,
and one of the first major public figures to be vocal about their diagnosis.
Yeah,
definitely gonna. I mean, we're going to be talking about a movie that deals with a fictional pandemic.
Yes.
But we're definitely going through this very real pandemic in our culture now.
Yeah.
We're not health guys.
No, we're not.
Read the news, stay informed, wash your hands.
Yes.
What we can talk about are movies and films.
Yes.
And how this is, the pandemic is affecting that business.
Yes, we can.
Several movies have been delayed.
I saw that coming.
Yeah, No Time to Die. The new James Bond was the first to be pushed back because people don't want to. Studios don't want to encourage people to go to the movie theaters during this time.
Yeah.
Also, Lovebirds, which we talked about, that trailer with Kumail and Issa Rae. Luckily, Insecure is coming back soon, so we'll get her on the small screen.
Yeah, on the home box office.
Quiet Place Part 2 was pushed back. There's a bunch. Fast and Furious was just announced.
Was pushed back
too. Yeah.
Because that's coming out at the end of the month. Well, it was coming out at the end of the month.
Yeah, so probably not going to be going out to see a lot of movies.
Yeah. And it's smart on their part as well from a business standpoint, because even if they put the movies out, the box office would have been hit.
Yeah, and they would have definitely been seen as villains for encouraging people to gather in large public spaces.
Yeah.
But yeah, weird times. Weird times we're in.
Yeah. It's the first in my lifetime that I've seen something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in 2009, there was swine flu, but that ended up not affecting us too badly.
Yeah, I don't think... everything
bigger.
was like shut down. Things are getting shut down now, so...
Yeah.
So, hey.
Before we get into Contagion, one other movie news piece. Karen Kusama, the director of The Invitation and Destroyer, is going to be directing Dracula.
Dope.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Invisible Man was released last weekend. Might be one of the last new movie releases. And that did well. It's a classic movie monster with a contemporary setting done like pretty artfully on what seems to be a smaller budget than, say, Tom Cruise's The Mummy.
Yeah.
And now it seems like they're like, hey, this is a good idea. Let's give good directors
let's do it.
a chance to make art movies based on these monsters and making them scary.
Let's make a horror and not a blockbuster.
Yeah, why? Like the Mummy,
they're monsters.
The Tom Cruise Mummy didn't seem like they were trying to be scary at all.
No, they were trying to be big. That's it.
Well, listen to our episode on the invitation. If you want to hear what we think about Karen Kusama's filmmaking.
Yeah,
but I'm excited for her to do Dracula.
Yeah, Dracula's gonna be cool.
And I want to know what her angle's going to be.
Yeah, which is going to be
because I know there's going to be an angle.
Because they just did one not too long ago.
Yeah, Dracula is public domain. So.
Yeah. The whole Universal monster thing is a bit messy. It's kind of like DC.
The Tom Cruise thing tanked, so they had plans for a whole thing, and that didn't work out.
Yeah.
So this seems like a better strategy.
Yeah. I hope they get it together by the time they get to the Wolfman. It
seems like, at least I hope that they're not still trying to connect all of these. I think that's probably where they went wrong.
Yeah, trying to connect them.
Yeah.
I don't think they should. Because what are you going to do? Like a crossover, like a monster movie?
Yeah.
And how does that play?
Yawn.
It's
not the event. It's not the same. Especially because in most monster movies, the most compelling characters are the victims, not the monsters. You know?
Could be.
Depending on the movie.
Yeah.
It seems, I haven't seen Invisible Man, but it seems Elizabeth Moss's character is the protagonist.
Yeah.
And probably the person you're rooting for.
Right.
Compared to the person you can't see.
Right. I was just thinking about more so the old movies where, you remember.
It's wreaking havoc and everyone's
you remember
disposable.
The creatures more.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. You might be selling me back on it. We'll see. Stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we get into our feature?
Let's do it.
Okay. It's time to talk about... It's a pretty good time to talk about Contagion.
It was a groundbreaking ceremony for a new factory.
Did she mention seeing anyone who was sick? Anyone on a plane at the airport?
No. She said she was jet lagged.
The average person touches their face 3 to 5 times every waking minute. In between, we're touching doorknobs, water fountains, and each other.
Beth. Mom? No, go up to your room, honey.
So we have a virus with no treatment protocol and no vaccine at this time.
You had a seizure this morning, Beth.
She had a history of seizures
No.
allergies.
As of last night, there are 32 cases.
Unfortunately, she did die.
Right. So can I go talk to her?
Mr. Amoff, your wife is dead.
What are you talking about? Okay. What happened to her? What happened to her?
Is there any way someone could weaponize the bird flu? Is that what we're looking at?
Someone doesn't have to weaponize the bird flu. The birds are doing that.
Watch this. It's transmission, so we just need to know which direction.
On day 1, there were 2 people, and then 4, and then 16. In 3 months, it's 1 billion. That's where we're headed.
They're calling out the National Guard. They're moving the president underground. People will panic.
Get away!
It will tip over.
The truth is being kept from the world.
Cook your samples, destroy everything.
Hello. I need you to get me the names of everyone who serviced this room. It's an emergency.
You can't panic now.
I know.
I'm gonna get you home.
I got people too, Dr. Cheever. We all do.
Don't talk to anyone. Don't touch anyone. Stay away from other people.
Get back in your car. We're not sick.
It's figuring us out faster than we're figuring it out.
It's mutated.
Contagion is a 2011 American thriller directed by Steven Soderbergh and written by Scott Z. Burns. Its ensemble cast includes Marion Cotillard, Matt Damon, Lawrence Fishburne, Jude Law, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Kate Winslet.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the spread of a virus transmitted by fomites and the attempts by medical researchers and public health officials to identify and contain the disease, the loss of social order in a pandemic, and finally, the introduction of a vaccine to halt its spread.
Mm-hmm.
To follow, this is kind of interesting. To follow several interacting plot lines, the film makes use of the multi-narrative hyperlink cinema style, popularized in several of Soderbergh's films. Yeah, it's definitely one of his go-to styles. He did it with Traffic,
Oceans.
Last year's. Well, Oceans is like an ensemble, but it's definitely one storyline.
Yeah, but it's like the way his movies move is so ensemble based. And it's just like it's moving around a lot.
Yeah,
there's a lot of moving pieces to his movies.
Yeah, and lots of different stories going on, and just like brilliant editing. I think.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not going to look up right now who's credited on this, but I know Steven Soderbergh has been known for doing a lot of the editing himself, which is not common for the director to be that involved. Yeah, he's a real. He's been around for a long time. You were just saying before we were recording this, you were looking up all his movies. You kept saying, "Oh, he did that too, and that."
Yeah.
Super prolific.
He puts out a lot of work. Stefan Marion is the editor. Birdman, The Revenant, Ocean's 13. Yeah, so a lot of good work.
Good
as
editor.
Well. Yeah, good editor.
Because this movie, it moves at a very brisk pace while juggling a bunch of different stories, which I think is something we would probably struggle to do if we tried to go through this step by step.
Yeah.
So we decided to, instead of doing that, what we normally do, we're going to break it up into, our discussion is going to be broken up into based on the characters and their stories.
Yeah.
But the arc of the picture is disease, what's going on. Here's a vaccine. How do we get the vaccine to everyone? What's going on? Vaccines here.
Yeah. And
that's the arc.
That's it. Yeah.
And that is definitely seen through all the smaller stories, but that's what you need to know going in.
Yeah.
This came out, like I said, in 2011, but it's definitely, there was like chatter about it. It made a profit. It turned a profit at the box office, but it wasn't like a big deal by any means, despite the large cast.
Yeah, the casting in this is like, because I watched this movie in 2011 or maybe 2012, and then I watched it twice today, and I was just like, every other frame there was like another star popping up, and I was just like, oh man, this is like the Valentine's movie of like sickness. Like,
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, Valentine's Day, like New Year's or Mother's Day.
If Gary Marshall made a pandemic movie.
Yeah, this would be it.
We've been doing a lot of great ensemble casts. It was Selma and Black Panther. And now this.
Yeah.
Wow. Love to see them. Love to see these movie stars in these movies.
Yeah.
It's always a delight.
Right.
Though also it's fun to see non-professional actors too. But that's another thing for another podcast.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is when it came out, it made money, but it wasn't like a huge deal. In the past few months, it's become a huge deal. It's like on the top 10 movie rentals on Apple, on iTunes and YouTube. I think because of the
rise of
relevance. Yeah. People are turning to this, which is feels like a very realistic approach to the pandemic disaster thriller.
Yeah, I think it's the realest one we could have chosen.
Several scientists and people, members of the Center for Disease Control, the CDC, were involved in the writing.
Oh, okay.
Helping. It was a deeply researched picture.
Nice.
And that probably helps lend the feeling of realness. And also, like, the style that it's shot, I feel like it's not, the angles and the camera shots are never what you would expect it to be. Like, even in a conversation, it's not just jumping between one person's face while they're talking to the next person's face while they're talking.
Yeah.
It's like you linger on like things they're touching, or like the camera's up in the rafters looking down on the conversation, or it's like angled through glass and you see both their faces and the reflections of the other person's face. That's something I like about it.
Yeah, it's definitely the way the camera is, it definitely like wants you to notice and pay attention, and wants you to like from the beginning, like those lingering shots of like people touching stuff.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh man. And it's just like, you know, they can't help it. Like you just have to like, you have to touch things, but like, you know what it means right away. And the camera like tells you that like right away. Like, yeah.
So Contagion starts with the screen's black.
Yeah.
But you hear just the public chatter of the airport. And then Gwyneth Paltrow coughing.
Yeah.
Pretty nasty cough.
And then when it like fades in, you can see that she is glistening a little. She has like a little layer of sweat going on.
Yeah, it's the sweat. If you like movies with sweaty movie stars, like you get to see the celebrities at their sweatiest, watch Contagion.
Yeah.
Paltrow's already a very pale human being, but the makeup department did a great job making her definitely even more pale.
Yeah, she
than
gets
normal.
paler as she goes along.
But even from the beginning, she's pale.
Yeah. Also, the movie tells us that this is day 2.
Yeah, it interestingly starts on day 2. It seems day 1 for the very end.
Yes.
Which is fun.
Yeah.
That it starts off with the virus already contracted.
Yeah, a bit of information missing so that by the end it could be a full circle. Yeah.
So she's at the airport at a bar.
Eating peanuts.
Eating peanuts, you get the close up of the bar peanuts.
You're just like, oh
leaves.
man, yeah.
And
she gets a
phone call from John Neal, her Mr.
Her lover.
Mr. is the male form of mistress. I learned recently, and I like the way that sounds.
Yeah, her Mr.
Her Mr. John Neal, who is the voice is Steven Soderbergh, the director. He's John Neal.
Yeah.
It's a little Easter egg. Yep.
So wait, when they actually show John,
they don't show him.
So the guy that's on the bus later,
that was her driver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
got it.
So yeah, she's in an extramarital affair, and she's talking to the guy that she was just seeing. In Chicago.
Yeah, they had sex. So we learned that she made contact with someone.
She flew from Hong Kong for where she was there on a business trip. Stopped in Chicago.
Yeah.
To see her lover. Now she's feeling a little sick.
Yeah.
And she's on her way back to Minneapolis.
Yes.
So let's get into the Minneapolis saga, right? Starring Matt Damon.
Do you want to talk about the montage a little? Because like,
sure.
Yeah, because like we have no other point to like talk about it if we don't talk about it now. So, okay, so while we see Gwyneth Paltrow is also feeling a bit under the weather, we see, I want to say 3 other people as well, also a little sweaty.
And all throughout the globe.
Yes. There's a man in Hong Kong, and he's sick, and he goes to he's on the train, he's on public transportation.
Right.
You get those lingering shots of him touching the rails,
just crowds, and,
and he goes to his girlfriend's house, and then we get a model, right?
Yeah,
we get the
in
model,
London, right?
Yeah, in London. She's a little sick, a little sweaty as well.
Still going into work,
touching envelopes. You see her like touch something and then like hand it to somebody else. And then we get the man going to Japan. He's on a flight.
Tokyo.
Yes. He takes a drink of something. That's what the shot is. Like him drinking the glass.
So I like right away we're thrown into like several different, even small storylines that aren't even fully explored.
Yeah.
But just spanning like right from the start 4 or 5 different countries.
Yeah.
And every time you see a different country, I like, it does the globe-trotting thriller thing where it tells you the city on the screen, but also in this movie it tells you the population of every city that you go to.
It's like 98 million.
It's like, damn, there's a lot of people in cities. Yeah. There's a lot of people all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
I like that touch.
Yeah.
And the first time I watched this, which was only just a couple weeks ago after, honestly, it was before I was taking coronavirus seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people on Twitter were just talking about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Made me want to watch it. I was expecting the device with the population to like where you go back to like Tokyo later and it shows the population and then it's like a smaller number, but I don't think it really does that.
No, it doesn't do that.
Yeah.
We also get to see them die. So we know that.
Yeah, it's a fast acting.
Yeah, it's fast acting. It's really fast acting. Takes about maybe 3 days in total for them. Because pretty much as soon as she gets home, I want to say maybe the next day.
Yeah,
is when she like has a seizure.
Yeah, the guy in Hong Kong dies riding the bus.
Mm-hmm. The guy in Japan.
The guy in Tokyo dies riding the bus. The guy in Hong Kong, you see him at the outdoor food market.
Yeah.
And it's like all blurry and shaky.
Yeah.
The camera. And then
he gets hit.
He just wanders in the street and is struck by a truck.
Yeah. We also see his girlfriend die.
Yeah. Well, to go back to the truck thing, I like how right from the start, within the first handful of deaths you get in this movie, they're not all directly dying from the disease.
Mm-hmm.
It's already exploring like the chain reaction of the disease.
Yeah.
Being like death by truck is an
option.
Yeah, it's not the disease, but it's because of that the chaos and it sets off the chain reaction that's then explored further.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then the girlfriend dies too.
Yeah.
She's found in her apartment
on the bus with his ashes.
Yeah. Ooh, lots of death right from the start.
Yes.
And then back to Minneapolis.
Yeah. We get there, and the first thing she does is she hugs her son.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mr. Son.
Mm-hmm.
She's greeted by her husband, who's played by Matt Damon, doing his one of his everyman roles, where he's like, he's Matt Damon, and he's just like a normal guy, Matt Damon.
Mm-hmm. He's not born.
Yeah. He's not like super soldier or like genius astronaut guy.
Mm-hmm.
He's just everyman, Matt Damon. And I think his character, like throughout Contagion, is like probably the closest to like the audience surrogate, like what this is how everyday people are being affected.
Which is weird because I thought that, but then I also thought like this movie doesn't have a person on the ground really.
It's Matt Damon.
But
it's just under weird circumstances because movies do this thing in the very beginning where to set up the protagonist and to establish empathy between the audience and the protagonist. Like they'll get dumped by their girlfriend or boyfriend, or they'll lose their job, or they'll lose their apartment. They'll get evicted.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a pretty common thing in the first act of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Damon in this one gets it rough.
Yeah, he really does. Very quickly too.
Just chatting with his wife Gwyneth, who's getting coffee and a little under the weather.
Mm-hmm.
While all of a sudden she just collapses to the ground and has a seizure.
Yeah.
Foaming from the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just shouting, Beth, Beth, Beth. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
And then the kid sees it, and that's frightening.
Yeah. Yeah.
They rush her to the hospital.
Where she seizes up again. And She dies. She dies on the table. The doctor tells Matt this news.
It's an interesting sequence.
Yeah, he's not really able to like comprehend it because after he's like, her heart stopped and she died, he's like, okay, so when can I speak to her?
Right.
Because like it happened so quick. Like she was there and she wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And the son.
Oh gosh. If you thought that was bad.
Right.
If you already feel bad for Matt Damon's character, just wait till he gets the call on the drive home.
Right. So the son is sick and he brought him home from school. So we get those lingering shots of him like coughing at school and like touching the door.
We see the door after they leave.
Yeah.
And
so like the germs are on the door.
The way that scene is cut, because at this point it's jumping back and forth through a couple of different stories.
Mm-hmm.
When he's picking up his son from school and taking him out, they leave the building and we linger on the door as it's closing, but it cuts to the next scene before the door actually closes fully. So you just have like, it's the openness. I like that. It's like, oh, it's out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, he gets the call on the way home from the hospital from, I guess, the babysitter.
Yeah, next door neighbor.
Something's wrong with
Yeah.
the son. He rushes in and son's dead too.
Son is dead. Wide-eyed, open, dead too.
So yeah, definitely a sympathetic character right off the bat.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely like felt for him.
It could be you.
Yeah.
So he's quarantined.
Yeah.
Isolated.
Mm-hmm.
And we find out he's still got some family. He has a daughter.
Yeah.
Survived.
Yeah. Which is just like that silver lining, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Of like he's not alone. Like, oh man, there's still someone for him.
Right.
Yeah.
He's glad that she's around.
Yeah.
That she's okay.
And that she wasn't around.
Right.
When, they were home.
She feels bad that she wasn't around, but he's happy because that means she's there now.
Yeah.
And they're having this whole conversation through the glass because he's quarantined.
Yeah. But he is like, has shown no symptoms so far.
No.
No
symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
In his next scene, he's interviewed by Kate Winslet's character, who we'll get more into later.
Mm-hmm.
They have this one scene together, this intersection of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
She is an epidemiologist. It's a fun word to say.
So her and Marion, that's how you say it?
Marion Cotillard, yeah.
Yeah, she they have the same job title, right? They're kind of the same thing, but one is like American based and one is world based.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kate Winslet works for the CDC, the Center of Disease Control. Marion Cotillard works for WHO, the World Health Organization. Okay.
That's what I thought, because it seemed like they were doing the same thing.
They're both investigating the case.
Yeah.
I guess Kate Winslet's character is directly investigating Beth Emhoff, who is Gwyneth Paltrow's character. Marion Cotillard is just like trying to find patient zero.
Yeah.
And it leads her to Beth Emhoff, who's suspected to be patient zero.
Yeah.
So to get more information, Winslet comes into Damon's isolation chamber to ask some questions about where was your wife? She was there for business. Does she travel a lot? What do you know about her layover in Hong Kong? She added extra time to it and she left the airport.
I couldn't tell if that was Kate. I was just like, is this someone?
Right, because she's got the mask and the biohazard suit.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. Okay, that's what that was. Okay. That makes sense.
And then, his wife dies, his son dies. This guy, it's got some bad luck.
Yeah.
But then you get the little cherry on top. By the way, we think your wife was cheating on you.
Yeah.
Do you know anything about that?
Yeah.
Because the whole layover in Chicago thing sparks a light bulb for Damon to be like, oh, this guy she used to be with, John Neal, lives there.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he sick too? And then his first instinct is, did he do this? Did he give this to her?
Yeah. And not the other way
Because I'm
around.
sure this man has caused him some trouble in the past.
Right. The autopsy, right?
Yeah. The doctor orders the autopsy because I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's pretty well done. Like the prosthetics, the like effect of it, of
it really looks like
her skull,
cutting Gwyneth Paltrow's head off.
Yeah, her skin flap over her face.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes, now that's goop.
Yeah. And this is like, I like this moment a lot because this is one of those like, moments.
Yeah, the two doctors. Right?
Yeah, when they look at her brain and it looks off. We don't get to see it, but by their reaction, you can tell like there's like, I picture like her having like black spots or something.
Yeah, something weird.
Yeah.
Like the junior doctor asks his the senior doctor, what should I do? And he says, I want you to back away from this table.
Yeah.
He says, who should I call? Everyone.
And it's crazy too because as like they're cutting her skull open, there's like some blood splatter on his mask.
Yeah.
And you know, like it's that guy is already sick.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one of these moments in Contagion where like because of one of the scenes, everything just ramps up and then we go back to other storyline threads and they're just on like another level.
Yeah.
So this is one of those where it just like ratchets up the tension.
Yeah.
So the next time we see Damon is he's trying to keep his daughter inside because he's been released from isolation. He's somehow immune to it.
Yeah. You can see as like they're walking through the waiting area that it is getting really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people are like starting to get loud.
Yeah. So he's worried because his daughter is still vulnerable to the virus.
Yeah.
So he's trying to keep her inside the house, even though her crush is so sad. He's like comes to the door with some flowers.
Yeah.
And Damon's like, no, you stay outside.
Yeah.
The crush is like, all right, I'll just leave these flowers. He's like, no, you take them away.
Yeah, take the flowers too.
He's, definitely traumatized, losing so many people close in his life.
Yeah.
Trying to hold on to who he still has.
Yeah. And I like that the daughter understands that.
Yeah, at this point, she's understanding.
Yeah.
But it's still like, damn.
Yeah.
My crush is interested in me, but daddy won't let me leave the house.
Right.
He's trying to bury his wife.
Yeah, and he can't. The funeral home won't allow it.
Yeah,
like
even though
their insurance or whatever.
Even though the family already has a plot at the cemetery,
the
funeral home's not letting them bury the body, and they're pushing for cremation, even though that wasn't Gwyneth Paltrow's wishes.
Yeah, they think that the bodies are still contagious even in death.
Yeah, it could be like a zombie thing. Who knows?
Who knows? And they want to be as far away from that as possible.
I think it's around this time where we see, I'm only mentioning it now because there's no significant characters in this small sequence. We cut to like the mass graves in Hong Kong or outside of Hong Kong. Just like bodies after bodies just being piled like on top of each other in a ditch and then covered with gravel. And then mention of not having enough body bags.
Yeah, that's the mass grave thing is so like upsetting.
Yeah, it's pretty disturbing.
Yeah.
And
especially because there's a character, I mean, that we care about that is eventually thrown into one of those mass graves.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we focus on some other stories for a little bit.
Yeah.
So some time passes until we get back to Matt Damon's character.
Yeah.
Because the next time we see him, things have gotten real bad.
Yeah, it's like maybe like day 20 or something. And they're trying to go to the grocery store. And the grocery
it's
store...
like a zombie movie at this point.
Yeah.
With that one woman, like, he's like turning at the end of the aisle and the woman's just standing there and coughs.
Yeah.
And she like reaches out her arm.
Help me.
Help me.
Yeah.
It's
and they gotta go. I'm like, nah, we can't. Don't touch anything.
Leave without
like,
any
none of this
groceries.
food. No, yeah.
And the shelves were empty anyway.
Yeah, and people are like breaking into the banks, so they're not only taking what they need, they're also taking like what they want.
It's just chaos.
Yeah. It takes no time to get to that point.
So he decides, let's get out of Minnesota. Let's go to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
It's a more isolated area.
Yeah, and his ex-wife is there, his daughter's mom.
Right.
Yes. But they're turned around.
They get to the bridge and they're stopped by, I guess, like the National Guard or someone. They've got the whole state on lockdown. So you got to turn around, and there's a bunch of cars behind them also trying to get out of the state. But at this point, they can't.
Yeah.
Even though Matt Damon's shouting about how he doesn't have the disease, neither does her daughter. But the National Guard is like, she does have it.
Right.
Which is concerning. I mean, she doesn't, but she's at risk.
Yeah.
But now she has to stay in the area that has a bunch of cases.
Yeah. Day 26. And this is very
supplies riot.
Yeah. It's day 26, and mills are exhausted. The free mills that they were handing out to people.
Yeah.
As soon as they say that, people start rushing to other people that got mills to like steal from them.
Yeah, and like the trucks, the National Guard trucks. And this is why I say Matt Damon's like the guy on the ground, because we're seeing like how are people getting the things they need to survive, like food. And also it's like when people start to like go nuts and riot at this point, Matt Damon's like the calm, measured guy. He's shouting.
He's so calm.
They're going into trucks, and he's like taking the moral high ground. Like, there's nothing in there. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, he tried to. This man like stole from this lady. He tried to like stop him, but then another man just swooped in and took her belongings.
Yeah, he tried, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
After that, he breaks into his neighbor's house.
Yeah, he sees that like there's a home invasion potentially.
Right.
He sees gunshots at night, and he tries to call 911, but of course 911 is like way busy.
Yeah,
and so he can't speak to anybody. There's like no help.
So he gets into his neighbor's house, and he gets a shotgun.
Yeah.
So even though he was being like the moral one at the food supply riot, now he's being forced to break some rules that he would have previously followed in society, like no trespassing or don't steal things.
Right.
Or this seems like a guy that, I mean, clearly he doesn't already own a gun, but now he feels it's necessary to be protected.
Yeah, if I also witnessed that, like that people were like now going around like being very hostile and not only stealing but killing, I would also try and take those protective measures as well.
Yeah, it's just a big snowball.
Yeah,
the violence starts, and then the people that wouldn't be violent then have to react, and a large amount of them then becomes more violence.
Yeah,
that's kind of human nature. Snow angels. Right?
Yeah. His daughter sneaks out with Andrew.
She's a teenager.
Yeah.
Living her best life under this pandemic.
Yeah.
Just trying to be a normal teenager, doing like a high school sweetheart type of thing. But she stopped because of the circumstances she's in.
Yeah.
But it's cute for a little bit. They're making
just
snow angels.
Yeah. And then he gets a little too close.
They're both wearing masks, but he does get on top of her and put his face up near her.
Yeah.
And that's when Daddy comes in.
Yeah.
Matt Damon comes
with the shotgun.
Yeah, with the shotgun.
Yeah. I like that he doesn't point it at him, because that's not the type of person he is.
But he's still holding it.
He's still holding it. And he's just
it is right after he got it.
Yeah.
But he is like, get off her.
Yeah.
So now he's putting her in full lockdown.
Yeah.
So sorry to his daughter, but she will not be able to live a normal life for now. Next time we see them, the vaccine has been created and is starting to be distributed. The way that's happening is through a lottery.
Yeah.
It's like a birthday lottery.
Yeah.
It's not years, just month and date. So
forever.
Like everyone born on March 10th.
Yeah, that's the first date.
Yeah, you'll be able to get the vaccine on day 1, and then they draw again.
Yeah.
This date is day 2.
Yeah, so it's going to take a year to get everyone vaccinated.
The daughter gets her birthday is picked the 144th day.
Yeah.
And Damon's trying to be all positive.
Yeah. Andrew's actually is the third day. He's number 3. Andrew's number 3.
Who's Andrew?
Andrew's her crush.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's number 3.
Oh, so she's all mad that he's number 3 and she's number 144. There's all those days that he'll get to be outside in the world and go places, but she'll have to wait.
Inside.
And when you're a teenager, especially, a month can feel like 5 years.
Yeah.
Just the way emotions are at that stage.
Mm-hmm.
She's probably scared he's going to move on without her.
Yeah, she can't get that time back.
She can't get it. But Matt Damon's trying to be positive, saying, hey, you're still got drawn. Your date got drawn before a lot of other people.
Right.
144 is still the first top 50%.
Right. We should probably stop there, right?
Why not? Why not finish it out with prom night?
Okay. All right.
144 days later, right?
Right. Matt does this cute thing for his daughter where he has like a private prom for her. And Andrew gets to come over. And he shows that he has this band. The band comes in later in the movie as a way to prove that you are either immune or vaccinated.
Yeah, it comes with the vaccine. He uses the wristband. When we see Matt Damon go into a department store.
Of course, the department store is still open.
Super empty, but he has to show the band to a security guard to get in.
Yeah.
We don't know what he's doing there, but then later we see he got a gift for his daughter. It's a dress.
Mm-hmm.
He's upstairs finding the camera from the closet.
Yeah.
It's an emotional moment where he turns on the digital camera and sees his wife's photos from her trip.
Yeah. There are some very important photos, I would say, on that camera that probably would have been helpful. But by this point, they aren't important anymore because in the other storylines, they figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it was the information was with him the whole time.
True.
Yeah.
His daughter puts on a U2 song as Andrew comes down and they get to slow dance. They get to be close to each other.
Yeah.
And it's starting to become normal. I mean, it's a private prom in their basement with just 2 people, but it's still some semblance of the high school experience.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's a wrap on Matt Damon.
Yeah.
I am so glad that Contagion is not just all about Matt Damon's character.
Yeah.
How boring would that be? Or any of these characters.
Is there any we could probably save this question for the end, but is there any character in this movie, if it was just like them, you would be like entertained by, like just
for
like their storyline?
Yeah,
for a whole movie.
Probably not. I mean, weirdly enough, maybe Marion Cotillard, even though she probably has the smallest amount of screen time, she's like just in the beginning and then again at the end.
Yeah.
But I think her arc is compelling. It goes in a lot of different places, but no. Like that, I don't think it would be enough.
Maybe for me, I would say maybe Jude Law's, just because like that angle
I was thinking
of like
that
a false prophet type of situation he put himself in.
I was thinking that, but would you really want to be spending more time with that character?
Nah, he was like the antagonist of the movie. I would say like the sickness is like the real like antagonist, but he's also like an antagonist of the movie.
Well, we already mentioned Kate Winslet.
Right.
She was brought into Damon's storyline, so should we talk about her?
Yeah, I have her as my storyline number 2 with Lawrence Fishburne as well.
Yeah, their first scenes are her first scene is with Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
He's her superior. He's sending her out into the field, as I said, to try to find out what happened to Beth Emhoff.
Yeah, he sends her to Minnesota.
She's picked up at an airport, and the guy picking her up tells her she needs a coat. Wouldn't want you to catch a cold.
Right.
That's a cruel line, knowing what her fate is.
Yeah. And also her reaction is just
important.
that would be the
least of my worries.
Yeah, the least of my worries. If I got a cold, that'd be fine.
She does end up getting a coat though, and it comes back.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's investigating Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth Paltrow worked for this giant global conglomerate. It's not really clear what the company does. Mm-hmm. It's AIMM. Mm-hmm. So she's in their offices trying to get some information from the people that are still there, but all they want to ask Kate Winslet's character is like,
am I sick?
Roundabout questions about, am I sick? Like, I used to take yoga with her. Am I going to be okay?
Yeah.
And like, I went out to lunch with her.
Right. And when was that? 10 days ago? No, the incubation period is smaller than that.
But then she discovers that she was picked up in Minnesota when she got back by a driver hired by her company.
Yeah.
So she gets the number for the driver and calls, and you can tell right away when he picks up the phone, oh, this guy's sick.
Yeah. And he's also on public trans, and he's also touching everything.
Yeah, she's like, "Where are you?" And he says, "The bus." And you're like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, I feel like everyone in this movie coughs into their hands.
Yeah, folks, cough into your elbow.
Yes,
and wash your hands.
Yes. I think in this movie, Kate Winslet is like my favorite character because she is like so informative. Mm-hmm. And she like breaks everything down in like simple terms. She's like the opposite of like Jennifer's character, who when like ever she's like talking about stuff, I'm just like, I don't understand what she's talking about. But there's that scene where Kate is in the conference with the people. I don't know who they are exactly. But they're like
government workers.
Yeah. And
they're
like,
trying to understand how to proceed. And
like they're meeting her with conflict and just talking about like shopping. Just talking about shopping and like, like, okay, so we send the kids home, but like who stays home with the kids, right? And she just gets up and starts breaking it down of like I think it's called the R naught, right? Mm-hmm. Which is like the reproduction rate of a disease. And she goes, so the flu is 1, right? So like you're bound to pass it on to at least one.
Flu pass it on
to one person. Smallpox, it was 3. Mm-hmm. And with polio, it was 4 to 6. Mm-hmm. Right. So they need to figure out what is the reproduction rate of this sickness.
And knowing that number can help us determine what kind of precautions we need to take.
Yeah. Because they don't want to just tell people to be cautious because they don't know what to be cautious of.
Yeah. The swine flu was brought up, H1N1, saying, hey, the last time this happened, we just panicked people. No one really got sick.
Yeah. We panicked healthy people.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's in Minneapolis now. We talked about the scene. She interviews Matt Damon. Mm-hmm. Then her next step is, the school is closed that the child went to. Mm-hmm. And there's about to be like just Minneapolis is deemed like a big danger zone for this disease.
It's red hot.
So she's with a guy showing her an empty arena. And she says, okay, this is great. Within 24 to 48 hours, we need to set up a full medical shelter.
Yeah, shelter with beds and triage outside and now food in the basement.
And now find me 3 more places like this.
Yeah.
So yeah, really effective, competent person at her job.
Yeah.
A real hero, getting shit done.
Yeah. Yeah, she is like a hero because she's very active and she's on the ground. But then like the worst thing happens to her.
Very tragically, we see her wake up in her hotel room, coughing and sweating.
Yeah.
So we get a sweaty Kate Winslet. I did the Tom Cruise thing again. And those 2 Kates aren't even spelled the same.
No.
Kate Winslet with a K.
Yeah, and she's
wakes up coughing.
She's sick. And it's just like it goes to show like even the people that know what they're doing are susceptible to this. You know what I mean? Like, no amount of not touching your face and washing your hands or whatever is going to, like, keep you from getting sick.
Oh, right. I meant to mention the guy she's talking to in the arena before. She keeps telling him, stop touching your face.
It's a funny moment.
And just a reminder of that is I always, like, then pay attention to my own face and all of a sudden just feel like an itch.
Yeah,
and if you're listening to this podcast right now, I'm sure you're now thinking about touching or not touching your face.
Yeah.
Best not to.
Yeah.
So she wakes up coughing, and her first instinct is to call the hotel management and warn them, give me the names and numbers of whoever was cleaning this room.
Mm-hmm. And the waiter that delivered my food last night.
She's really trying to do her part to contain it, do whatever she can.
Yeah.
So she calls up Lawrence Fishburne.
Mm-hmm.
Cheever is his character's name.
Mm-hmm.
I like that last name.
Cheevers.
It's like in movies when you get like a government worker, they're always like called by their last name.
Mm-hmm.
Cheever's a good one. She says, hey, I'm sick.
Yeah.
My symptoms match the symptoms of this disease. And he says, all right, we'll fly you home.
Yeah.
Just get some rest. I'll make sure we get you out of there.
Mm-hmm.
But when we find out the details behind this, we'll talk about that, I guess, with Lawrence Fishburne's character.
Story.
Because the next time we see Kate Winslet is her waking up again, now, tragically, in the arena
that she set up
for others.
Mm-hmm.
She is now a patient there.
Yeah.
She's awoken by a physician saying, hey, we'll get you to a private section we're setting up for medical workers.
Yeah. It's the guy she was with earlier that she told to stop touching his face. And he's had a whole suit on and his face is protected and all that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So now she's just another one of the masses.
Yeah. Yeah, her story is very, very short.
Yeah, and then the next time we see her, once again, just waking up in a strange place. And now the camera's doing like the fuzzy thing that it's been showing the perspective of the sick folks.
Yeah, before they die, pretty much.
Yeah, and she wakes up next to someone also dying.
Yeah, and they have the chills. They're cold. And I love this moment because she tries to, like, even in like her illness, she takes off her coat and tries to give it to him, but it just falls on the floor because she's so weak.
Yeah, the nun that's treating this man, because of course it's a nun, it's just volunteers at this point, because we've seen through Kate Winslet's character that the medical professionals are obviously also susceptible to this.
Yeah, we learn in Lawrence's story that the nurses are on strike because he explains that all they're doing is putting healthy people next to sick people and hoping that healthy people don't get sick. Yeah.
So the nun explains that there's a shortage of blankets. They're hoping more will be donated, but she can't get him one.
Yeah.
So in her last dying act is the jacket she must have gotten in the meantime. Like since the guy said, you better get a jacket.
Yeah.
Trying to help, but it's somewhat futile.
Yeah.
But very well intentioned.
Yeah. And then the next cut is...
Oh, it's rough.
Yeah, it's her...
Remember that mass grave?
Yeah, it's her in a bag.
Mm-hmm. Just another dead body.
Just another dead body in a bag out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really sad.
Lawrence Fishburne?
Yeah.
Ike Turner?
Yeah.
Talking about him again?
We are.
He's great.
Yeah.
And I like him. Seeing him in What's Love Got to Do with It as just such a villain.
Yeah.
Was new for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely more used to Lawrence Fishburne in these types of roles.
Mm-hmm.
He plays it so well, just like a man in a position of authority, just authority figure.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just has such, I don't know what it is. His presence and his deep voice. Yeah, he gives instructions really well.
Yeah, very he can do stoic very well. Very
stoic.
Posed and solid very well. Yeah.
So he is the head of the CDC. which the headquarters is in Atlanta. I did not write down the population, but the movie did tell you. First time we see him, he's getting to work, leaving his car in the parking garage.
Yeah.
And we meet the custodian that works there, played by John Hawkes in a very small role, but it's one of those movies where even actors were like, oh yeah, that guy are in it in small roles. Right. He's a custodian just asking the head of the CDC for medical advice.
All right.
This is, of course, before the outbreak. It's just like he's got a rash or something.
His ADD.
Oh, it's about his ADD.
Yeah, it's about ADD.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's like, I'm not that kind of doctor. I can recommend someone to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that dynamic is established. Then
I wish it would have followed that character a little bit more, just because.
Just his struggle.
Yeah, because he is
you think he could have been more of the everyman.
Yeah, I think he could have been more of the everyman than because he would have been. He's more
because he wasn't related to someone who can be seen as patient zero.
Yeah,
I guess she was patient zero, right?
No, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's like either her or the chef.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We only get 3. He's only in 3 scenes, I think.
Yeah. Because he's in he has, like, Matt Damon character has, like, a nice house and, like, security and all that stuff. So, like, for the most part, and he's also immune, so he's fine.
Right.
But, like, his character is on, like, the lower end of, like, property. Yeah,
we'll talk about it when we get there, when we see his house. But there's a shot that involves that I am a big fan of.
Yeah.
So Lawrence, sends out Kate Winslet's character into the field.
Yeah.
He says, I used to be in the field. Call me the second you've run into any trouble. I'll help you out.
Yeah. If you're struggling, call me at 3 a.m. I don't care. I'm your guy.
Then he's brought into a crisis room with a bunch of government officials.
Yeah.
One of which is Bryan Cranston.
Yes.
In a decorated military garb. I guess high up in there.
Yeah.
I don't know what his title was. So this is just he's being briefed on the onset of this virus.
Yeah.
And they're like, what is it? And he's like, it's way too early to tell. This is what I'm going to do. We're going to start testing it. And then they're wondering if it's chemical warfare.
Yeah. Of course, they throw that out early to see, like, if it's an attack on on America.
Yeah, there's that line that was in the trailer. What if they turn the bird flu into a weapon? And then Lawrence Fishburne is like, they don't have to. The birds already did that. But I love that point that this is the virus is like this living thing that's attacking humans.
It's its own.
There's a line elsewhere. I think it's when Kate Winslet is with the government people, and she's like, a shark in a movie scares people away from the beach, but the warning on cigarette cartons doesn't stop anyone from smoking them.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know. I wonder if in 2011 the virus was seen as like a shark, and if it turned anyone into like to have some germophobic tendencies. So yeah, Fishburne doesn't think it's chemical warfare.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, we got to figure this out. And Bryan Cranston gives him orders. Don't tell anyone about this until it's time to tell everyone about this.
Yeah.
I think the next scene with Fishburne, he's breaking this rule, right?
Yeah. Actually, I want to say he gets that information about from Jennifer about what the virus is, and where the clusters are, and like he pretty much they find the origin.
Right.
Yeah,
I had that under.
Yeah, but
Jennifer Ely's story, I guess.
Yeah, that's more part of her story. But the next time we see him is when he's breaking that rule.
Yeah, Cranston tells him, don't tell anyone. And so he gets on the phone and calls his fiancée, played by
Sanaa
Lathan. And says, hey, get the fuck out of Chicago.
Yeah, like
come here to Atlanta.
Yeah, come to Atlanta.
I'll protect you.
And don't tell anyone. And don't get close to anyone. But, of course, she does tell someone.
Right away, she's on the phone talking to a girlfriend. And, the girlfriend knows that her friend's fiance works for the CDC, is high up there. So she says, what does he think about it? So, yeah, she reveals, it's serious.
And she's like, what do you mean serious? And she's like, I'm getting out of town. She's like, oh my God.
Yeah, so she's Sanaa Lathan's one of the first people in the stores, like, taking stuff off the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
She gets in the car and she's able to get out of Chicago, unlike Matt Damon, who's stopped because he doesn't have someone on the inside telling him in advance.
Get out, yeah.
After Fishburne gets off the phone, though, and says, don't tell anyone, surprise, the custodian, John Hawkes, was there the whole time. He says, how much of that did you hear? John Hawkes is like, I got people too, you know.
Yeah.
And it just highlights, like, he's got this privileged information that they're not telling the public everything they know because they're trying to control the public response.
Yeah.
And yet, he's telling his loved ones.
Yeah.
Who's to say that John Hawkes' loved ones aren't as important?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I understand that feeling of having information and, like, how do you not tell the closest person to you, like, hey, you need to get out of town.
Right.
How do you just let them sit there and potentially get sick?
You don't, it turns out.
Yeah.
Next time we see him, he's being interviewed on TV.
Yeah.
And he's trying to explain why the response is so slow.
Yeah.
And it's because there's 50 different states. They all have their own protocols. So we got to navigate all that. And we're still trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
We got the vaccine, but we need to develop it, mass produce it, and get it to everyone. And then
they have it at that point? They don't have it at that point. They don't have the vaccine at that point.
Oh, okay.
Because Jennifer definitely, like, gets it, like, late.
Okay, they don't have the vaccine yet.
Yeah, he pretty much is just giving people the bare minimum, which is, like, to wash their hands.
Yeah, and then because it's one of those TV shows, they have the talking head representing the opposing view.
Yes.
Which is blogger Jude Law.
Yeah.
Who we will get to.
Yes, we will.
But he, he reads Lawrence Fishburne, The Riot Act, and calls him out for holding on to the information and not telling the public everything. And guess what? We have records that you called your fiance.
Yeah, and he's kind of blindsided by that.
Yeah.
By that information.
And then his bosses, Bryan Cranston, some other guy, are like, hey, guess what? We know. There's going to be an internal investigation.
Yeah.
And going into this is going to be hearings, but we can't fire you.
Yeah, we can't afford to lose you right now.
You're the only person that can help us. So now this guy, he's got to keep working to, manage all the different people working to get the vaccine and the cure. Knowing he's going to have to fall on the sword after this and be one of the public scapegoats.
Yeah. Yeah.
So another tragic fate for one of the heroes.
We don't get back into his story until day 131, when after the vaccine is found.
Yeah, after the vaccine is made, but before everyone gets it.
Yeah.
We are with Sanaa Lathan in their apartment.
Yeah.
After Cheever goes to work, their home's broken into because they know he lives there. He might have the vaccine.
Yeah.
Happens to be just the day before they're about to get the vaccine too.
Yeah. And luckily they didn't seriously hurt her either.
She's shouting, don't touch me, don't touch me. And, and they don't. Fishburne gets the vaccine from Cranston. He doesn't have to wait in the giant lines that the public
he gets two.
Yeah, we see like shots of like these football stadiums and people waiting in lines, and each person is like 5 feet apart.
Yeah.
You never see lines like that. But no, he's privileged. He's in the government.
Yeah.
He's in the circle, so he just gets handed the vaccine while he's in the office.
Yeah.
He gets 2 for him and his wife because they got married in between sequences.
Yeah.
But he doesn't administer. Cranston's like, hey, let's do it now. He's like, no, my wife will want to do it
together, which makes sense.
Makes sense, but that doesn't end up being the case.
Yeah.
Because the next thing we see, he's at John Hawkes' house, which is a very modest-sized home. And the shot I spoke of just a few minutes ago, that like, I don't know cars, so I don't know what kind of car Cheever's driving, but it seems like a Benz or like a Beamer or a Rolls Royce, one of these luxury cars.
All right, I didn't even pay attention to the
It's
car.
the way that outside of John Hawkes' house is framed with Cheever's car right in front of it. Like somehow the distance they got, it's like the width of the car takes up the exact same space that the house does. And it just shows the wealth imbalance.
Yeah.
And pretty much visually saying these things are equal. Like he drives a car that's as much money as the house.
Right.
That's just his car.
Right. And also his house is boarded up. Right. And all the houses on the block are boarded up as well. And that's something that Matt Damon didn't have to do.
Matt Damon, who's living in a suburb in Minneapolis. So yeah, we see in these pretty subtle ways how the pandemic affects disproportionately lower income areas and humans.
Yeah. And so yeah, he gives the little boy the vaccine, and he can't give him the bracelet that we mentioned earlier. But you know, they know, and he puts it on himself, even though he's not cured. Now I don't know exactly like what that entails for him.
Yeah, we don't really follow up. We don't get a follow up on that.
Yeah, like eventually, like if he gets sick eventually, like, or like is he fine, or you know exactly like what his future is. Like, is he able to get the cure again? You know what I mean? And he gives the other vaccine to his wife. So yeah,
after he gives the vaccine to the custodian's son, he does this line delivery that like where he administers the vaccine, then shakes the kid's hand, and he says, you know where that came from, shaking hands? It's from the old days. It was a way to show you weren't a threat. You shake hands to show you don't have a weapon.
Right.
And it's just kind of interesting because they thought originally maybe this was weaponized. This is warfare. You shake hands with someone, even though it doesn't look like you have a weapon, you're still potentially putting them in danger.
Right. And he also shakes the custodian's hand, which is kind of dangerous because he doesn't have the vaccine anymore. He's not taking it for himself. And also he didn't give the vaccine to the custodian, just his child.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, is it stated that the custodian never got vaccinated?
Well, I would assume
his birthday may have been
one of the first ones.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So that's a wrap on Fishburne. He gives his fiance the vaccine. It's like a syringe up the nose.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that before.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Yeah. She has some guilt that she got it earlier than her birthday.
Yeah.
But he says, we're family. You're my wife. She's like, if I weren't your wife, I wouldn't be getting this.
Yeah, I would have to wait a year.
But you are my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jude
Law.
The
goofiest character in this movie, Contagion.
And he gets to be a Brit, too.
Also the most... Yeah, he is a Brit.
He is a Brit, but he gets to be a Brit, yeah.
Is he... Can we talk about the teeth? Did you notice that?
Yeah, he has
not
he has
his
a big
real
gap.
teeth, right? Or is that just Jude Law?
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe I haven't looked at his face enough.
No, they probably accentuated the British thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
It makes him look like someone you can't trust, right? A very 2011 thing. He's a a blogger.
Yes.
This is just on the cusp of like, wait, maybe blogs are becoming a real thing that are gaining huge audiences that are taking over print media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, this was only 9 years ago, but that whole story has expanded a lot.
Yeah, and he's at the I guess the forefront as far as like getting the news out there of whatever this sickness is. On his blog, he has the video of the man from Japan dying on the bus. Yeah,
and his whole thing is, we only have seen videos of a couple cases, but imagine all the cases.
Yeah.
People didn't have the opportunity the foresight to die in front of a camera.
Yeah.
So one of his early scenes, he's at the San Francisco Chronicle, the newspaper office, pitching the story about this virus just in the very early stages of it before people have any information about it. But he's got some quote unquote leads, which are really just conspiracy theories, and he's dismissed for just peddling conspiracy theories.
Yeah, he conspiracies.
So yeah, they don't take his pitch.
Yeah.
He leaves the office frustrated, shouting about how print media is dead.
Yeah, and if you print this, I'll sue you.
Also, just want to note, he's wearing one of those newsboy caps.
Yeah.
I just like that. The next time we see him, he's harassing Elliot Gould's character, who's one of the scientists who helps in the fight to try to find a vaccine.
Yeah.
Elliot Gould's just walking to his car, and Jude Law chases after him with the recorder in his face, asking him
kind of harassing him.
Yeah, do you have the samples in this office right now? What can you tell us?
Yeah, he's so aggressive. Like, how do you expect to get any type of answer with that approach?
Mm-hmm. He is dismissed by Elliot Gould also. So the whole establishment is dismissing this guy. The newspapers, the scientists.
Yeah.
He says...
Because he's a blogger.
He says, I'm a writer. He says, you're not a writer, you're a blogger. Blogging isn't writing. It's graffiti with punctuation.
Yeah.
Which is a very 2011 way to look at bloggers, which, are pretty huge. And Jude Law loves reminding all the other characters that he has 12 million loyal followers.
Yeah, by the end. I think he starts with 2 million.
Oh, okay.
But because he's on the forefront of it, his popularity is growing. Right. And he has this bench meeting where he's talking to this guy.
You love a thriller where people meet in a park on the park bench. I always wanted to do that. Have a secret meeting in a park.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he's like a hedge fund guy.
Yeah.
Trying to figure out how he can make some money off of Jude Law's character, and his reach, his audience.
And he brings up this drug called Forsythia.
It's like a natural supplement type of thing.
Yeah.
That seemingly out of nowhere, Jude Law decides, there's this thing Forsythia that's going to be the cure.
Yeah. And maybe he has stock in this company, it would seem like.
Well, yeah, and he's kind of telling the hedge fund guy, buy some stocks in this company.
Yeah, this is what I'm going to be. Yeah, what I'm going to be selling my audience. And so he starts his campaign, and he puts on a show.
Yeah, he's a video blogger now.
Yeah,
and he's telling his audience, "I've got the virus.
Yeah,
but I've also got this stuff for Scythia.
Yeah." And if I'm not dead by tomorrow, then it works. Surprisingly, he's not dead.
Yeah, because the next time we see him is during the day.
Mm-hmm.
And he's out and about.
In a full, not full, but
suit.
his man-made biohazard suit.
Yeah, he's got, you can tell it's not the same as the ones the scientists had been wearing. I like that touch with the costuming. It's the same idea, but different ways.
Yeah.
He's putting flyers out on car windshields.
Yeah. The lady that he spoke to earlier is at a drugstore. Now, this is around the time, I want to say, where like Matt Damon character like is trying to like go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
She's trying to get the forsythia.
This is like after they figured out, okay, this came from bats and pigs. And this is how it's spreading. But before they got the vaccine.
Yeah. And people are lining up for this drug that he's selling. So obviously they're watching his vlogging.
Yeah. There's a shortage.
There's a shortage. And so people start to rush. They start to cut the line. And so she's not able to get any. And she gets sick.
Yeah. And she's waiting out on his stoop.
Yeah.
He gets home from putting forsythia flyers on the windshield wipers of cars. And saying, hey, I couldn't get it at the pharmacy. Can you give me some forsythia? But he doesn't have any.
Yeah. I feel like he does. He says people broke in and stole it. Or
I don't think he does because I don't think he was ever actually taking it.
True.
I don't think he was buying it.
Yeah. He really doesn't need it.
But yeah, he turns her down, and then there's this wide shot, like from the other end of the street. And it's San Francisco, so it's one of those like crooked streets.
Yeah.
Downhill, and you just see all the trash that had piled up because there's no like trash collection services. It's just what I find most interesting in Contagion is like all the areas where it's not like this person's sick and that's bad and this is what we're exploring. It's just the threads that you can follow. If this happens, then this will happen.
Yeah.
People won't be collecting trash because they're all staying inside and public service is being shut down.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that causes all sorts of problems.
Yeah.
So then Jude Law gets to be on the news.
Yeah. We spoke a little bit about this.
Yeah, he gets, after he calls out Fishburne, he makes like a whole speech about like, he's trying to take the high ground, calling out Fishburne for profiting. Him and his people are profiting off of this.
Yeah, they're hand in hand with like the pharmacy, like Big Pharma and stuff.
That's why you haven't told the public about forsythia, even though I've proven it works.
Right, and it's not scientifically proven at all. He's doing the same thing that he's saying that they're doing.
Yep. It's a giveaway. It's one of those things.
Yeah, I like Jude Law's acting in that interview scene because you could tell he's like just a shifty character. He's bullshitting.
Yeah.
Because after he calls out Lawrence Fishburne, he does this thing with his eyes.
Yeah, he's darting. Also, the shiftiness is shown through the camera. During his speech, it keeps moving from one side of his face to another side of his face, which is like a weird thing because he's not actually talking to anyone face to face.
Yeah.
He's just in front of a camera, but we see the right side, then it cuts to the left side, and it's like, oh, he's like two-faced.
Yeah. He's done very well.
The next time we see him, he's got flowers, and he's standing at the grave of his friend who was sick.
Yeah, she died. She didn't make it.
Then back to the park.
Yeah. His story's pretty quick as well.
Yeah, his hedge fund guy meets him again in the park. And the hedge fund guy's calling him out for the forsythia not working.
Yeah.
But Jude, as if they weren't making out this character to be despicable enough, lying about having the virus and pushing out the forsythia. Now he's saying, hey, because at this point the vaccine is out, but he's like, hey, don't take the government's vaccine.
Yeah, it's like we don't.
He says it could cause autism.
Yeah.
He's an anti-vaxxer.
Yeah. And he feels he has like this God complex, you know what I mean? Now he's the man with 12 million followers that are all waiting on his word. And what he says is important. And he doesn't have to tell people to take the vaccine, right? But while he's doing this and he's talking about like conspiracies and like what the vaccine may or may not have or do, he notices that there's a trash man like over there, and he's just like, wait.
Yeah, I like that piece because we saw earlier no one's collecting the trash, right?
Right.
And it's classic like FBI people disguising themselves as trash collectors.
Right.
We just saw it on The Wire.
Yeah.
not a movie or a film, but I love The Wire.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're feds.
Yeah.
And there's like 12 of them. Jude Law's like, you're wearing a wire, aren't you? Gets up from the park bench, and all these people, like all the extras that were in the background of the scene now are just rushing him.
Yeah.
And he's arrested.
Yeah.
For insider trading, profiting off the
conspiracy and manslaughter, potentially.
Yeah, he never had the virus.
Yeah. Yeah, they find that out.
And he made $4.5 million telling that lie.
Yeah.
But he's released on bail.
Yeah.
Because he has 12 million followers that are gullible enough to believe what he says and help him get out.
Yeah. I thought when you said that line, like there are 12 million crazy people like you, that there were like other people that were also doing the same thing that he was doing as well.
Oh no,
I think he wasn't I
think he meant like the public.
Yeah, the public got him out. Yeah, okay, I got it. I get it.
So yeah, that's blogger, anti-vaxxer, horrible person, Jude Law.
Yeah, I like that we got a character like that.
Yeah, so we talked about, Matt Damon and John Hawkes are like these average people. And then we get Lawrence Fishburne and Kate Winslet and some other characters we'll talk about who are doing all these acts. Well, I guess Lawrence is more in the gray area of selflessness versus selfishness in this pandemic. And Jude Law is very selfish.
Yes.
Fishburne's a bit of both. Kate Winslet is definitely self-sacrificing, selfless.
Marion?
Yeah, okay. Marion Cotillard.
Mary Cotillon.
We meet her in Geneva, Switzerland.
Yes.
At the Office of the World Health Organization. She's working to identify patient zero.
Yes. And she's really good at her job because it takes her, like, I feel like no time to get like the four that we see at the beginning. Like she gets their pictures laid out and like
she
these
figures
are the people
out how
that
they're
we need
related.
to watch. Yes.
They were in this casino this one night. She flies to Hong Kong. Where the virus is widespread at this point. It's still early in the movie, but Hong Kong was one of the first places affected.
Yeah.
So we get like the foreshadowing of what's going to happen in the American cities later.
Yeah.
This shit's so real. I feel like every sentence I say, I just keep in my mind going back thinking about what's actually happening in the world right now. Anyway. Hopefully this isn't happening. She's working with some locals of Hong Kong's health services. One played by actor Chin Han, who mentions that his mother has the virus.
Yeah, she's showing
they're in a
symptoms.
local village. Meanwhile, Marion Cotillard is looking at these videos.
Yeah.
And through we get some flashbacks.
Yeah. I actually like the way the flashbacks are shown. Like the way her watching the footage is shown to us. It's just not her watching it.
Yeah, first the scene opens just as the flashback. Like the camera's very close to Gwyneth Paltrow's character.
Yeah.
And like it's fuzzy and maybe there's something off about the frame rate.
Dreamy on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to the video surveillance footage that Marion Cotillard's watching.
Yeah.
She's in the casino, like a guy's blowing her dice and she's sharing drinks with people.
Yeah. And like you can also, it's just there this close up on her neck and you can see like it's blotchy and red.
Yeah.
So like it's starting to spread within her. Yeah.
So like she has to figure out, okay, they shared the drinks. Did Gwyneth give her the virus or is this person giving Gwyneth the virus? Yeah. How do you tell? She's got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
But before she can do more, she talks to her coworker, Chin Han, who says his mother tried forsythia, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
Didn't do anything. She died, and now she's buried in a mass grave.
Yeah.
And then they're in the car, about to get kidnapped.
Yeah, she gets kidnapped because she figures it out, right? She figures out that Gwyneth.
That Beth Emhoff was patient 0.
Yeah, she's the first one.
She gets that far.
Mm-hmm. But on her way to like the official, actually, she's going to take it to Geneva.
Yeah, I think she's being driven back to the airport.
Yeah.
But they don't take her to the airport. Chin Han and his, I don't know the character's name. So Chin Han's character kidnaps her.
Yeah, takes her to
cuff her, blindfold her, and take her to the village.
Yeah, where the uninfected are. And their plan is to use her to get them to the front of the line for the vaccine.
Yeah, she's the kidnapper and the ransom is the vaccine.
Yeah.
And then we do not see Marion Cotillard for
a while.
Like 300 days or something.
Not until they get the vaccine.
Right. I almost forgot about her storyline.
Yeah.
But shit's different when we go back to her because now she's like teaching a class in the village.
Yeah. She's not a hostage. I mean, she has been kidnapped, but she's not not hostile towards her.
She seems to be a member of the community that she's confined to.
Yeah.
They get the call that there's the vaccine. Mm-hmm. They arrange the handoff.
Mm-hmm.
So she gets back in the car.
Yeah.
300 days later, driving from the village back into Hong Kong.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, the first time we saw Hong Kong, it was a lot of people in masks walking around, all the people, the public transportation, the outdoor market, the buses and stuff. But now the streets are empty, save for a couple people in hazmat suits and hosing down the streets.
Yeah.
But there's graves fucking everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Like any open field, any open space, it's just graves lined up.
Yeah.
And, wow.
Yeah, like...
It's a pretty scary image.
Yeah, and it's just like... We have like this grave system where we can like keep account of people, but then like people get sick and you just throw them in the ground and then that's it. They're just lost forever. It's almost like they were never here. It's like no love, no respect.
Just overwhelmed by loss.
Yeah. So they get the vaccine and they give it to her first.
Yeah, they get it from the guy
mm-hmm.
and run back to the car and the guy's like, wait, this isn't the plan. Where is her? Where is she?
All right.
And they get in the back of the van. They give her the vaccine. She
mm-hmm.
nods.
Yeah.
I guess to say, all right, we're good.
Mm-hmm.
And the van drives off. The guy who gave them the vaccine thinks they're driving off, not giving up Marion.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like I don't know. It's just a cool thing where the car leaves and then you see that she was behind the car.
Yeah.
And she was there. It's
she
like just a cool hostage thing.
Yeah.
Did you see Out of Sight?
Out of Sight?
Yeah, it's another Steven Soderbergh movie.
I don't think so.
Jennifer Lopez and George Clooney.
No, I didn't see that one.
It's like another hostage, much different kidnapping movie.
Oh, okay.
It's based on a book by Elmore Leonard who did Jackie Brown, and Get Shorty.
1998. I didn't see this one.
I recommend it.
Okay. All right, I'll put it on my watch list on Letterboxd.
Yeah. So now she's with her handler at the terminal, finally in the airport, ready to go home.
Yeah.
And then he gives her the real vaccine.
Yeah. She learns that it was a placebo. And she kind of not freaks out, but it was just like, oh, man.
Oh, fuck, I gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta warn them because they're going to take the placebo and then go back out into the population and die.
And the whole village will be lost.
Yeah, and it's a bunch of kids. It was a bunch of kids. Yep. Yeah, so that's the last thing we see of her is like rushing off to the village where she doesn't even know where it is because she was blindfolded to and from.
And it's just, that's the last thing we get is her running away.
Yeah.
And
without even taking the vaccine.
Definitely open-ended, but I like that because it just makes the viewer contemplate like where's the future. We saw all the graves everywhere, and yet in this village there's the children that could be the future.
Yeah,
and like, damn, what's gonna happen?
Yeah,
with them. Okay, moving on. More characters. Jennifer Ely.
Yeah, that's like the last one.
I don't know how to say her last name. She's the least famous actor in this cast.
Mm-hmm.
But I like her. I like her performance.
She's really good.
Yeah. She is a scientist.
Yeah.
Working in the CDC.
Mm-hmm. High clearance, level 4.
Yeah.
I don't know how many levels there are, but
she's the top scientist, reports directly to Lawrence Fishburne's character.
Yeah.
The first time we meet her, she's in like an official hazmat suit, like with the air, like has to be blown up with air. We get to see all the like devices and like procedures they have to take to be safe. I like the way it's shown, like just with a lot of close-ups on the tubes and the machines that they have to use.
Yeah.
So she's with her coworker, played by, I guess, dramatic actor, comedian Dimitri Martin, who does, his comedies like these deadpan one-liners, but now he pops up in Contagion.
Yeah. He's one of those, sometimes you'll see a movie and you'll see an actor and be like, oh, they were like a big thing in like the 2000s or like the 10s or something. And then like, he had like his own show on Comedy Central. Like, he was a bit of a thing.
He was the lead in an Ang Lee movie.
Yeah.
No one saw it, but Taking Woodstock.
Oh.
He was the lead in it.
I think I saw that.
Oh. So she discovers that the virus is a cross between a pig and a bat.
Yeah. It's part bat, but yeah.
She says the frightening line, it's changing. It's still evolving. It's figuring us out faster than we're figuring it out.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah. And it's a pretty cool thing that the virus is alive.
Yeah, so they got some data. They ran the tests. They got data they need to parse to figure out more.
Yeah.
So she calls Elliot Gould's character, who she had a prior relationship to. If anyone can figure it out, it's this guy. So I forget what city he's in. Or I guess he's in San Francisco or something.
Yeah. Has to be.
So he's in a different city. He sent the samples to test.
Yeah.
But after a meeting with Fishburne, Fishburne decides, let's only test it here at the CDC in Atlanta. We can't risk this leaving the laboratory.
On someone's show. Yeah, once he figures out like how serious and how scary this virus is, he's like, okay, cut it. And so she tells him to cut it and burn his samples. But one night he's out at a diner and he starts people watching.
Yeah, I like this scene.
Yeah, and
this is one of those scenes like the bus earlier where it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, he has that moment like, oh shit, like he noticed that someone is coughing and like people are like, this mom is feeding her child food and like this guy, the way he's like just cleaning glasses and he's just like, this thing is gonna spread quick. And he can see that, like it's just gonna spread quick. Like people are not prepared in any way. And also they don't know. They don't have this information. So
yeah, to research more, they would need to grow the virus themselves to do tests on it, to administer it to, say, monkeys, to then find a vaccine.
But they can't grow it because it's so aggressive and it kills everything. So against orders to burn the sample, he does a little bit more work on it.
Yeah, isn't that amazing that if the government had its way, who knows when they would have been able to grow it and gotten a vaccine. The only reason they were able to get the vaccine, and it still took a long time to get to the public, but it would have taken even longer if Elliot Gould's character listened to the people running the show.
Yeah.
Scary stuff.
Yeah.
It takes that act of defiance.
Yeah, it takes that.
I'm going to run these tests even though they told me to destroy the sample.
Yeah.
Because he successfully grows it.
Yeah, he figures it out. And all he wants is a box of cigars.
Right.
Yeah.
He gets to be hailed as this hero for defying the orders, whereas Lawrence Fishburne's character is vilified.
Yeah.
Because of the one instance where he did the very human thing of warning his loved one.
Yeah.
Once Elliot Gould successfully grows it, that's the last we see of his character.
Yeah, his story's done. It starts to mutate again. And I feel like, okay, so it gets like really heady and I start to like lose like I said
science
earlier.
Jargon?
Yeah, just like the science jargon. Just like what are they talking about?
So the basics is they were able to grow it. So now they're testing it on monkeys.
Right.
And it's still mutating and they can't get it quite right.
Mm-hmm.
And they've just got a bunch of dead monkeys.
Yeah. There's something about mixing it with polio or something like that.
Yes.
Or like trying to like, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not a
make
scientist.
a virus cocktail. I don't know. I didn't understand that part at all. Like exactly how that works.
The thing is, I don't understand most movie science, but I believe the science of this movie more than other. It like the jargon doesn't feel like made up movie jargon, you know?
Yeah. Because it's mutating, the R naught has moved up to 4.
Yeah, it's eventually determined 1 in 12 people will contract this virus.
Yeah.
Then we get to vaccine number 57, which we see the shot opens of this monkey, a living monkey.
Yeah, the one monkey.
We had seen a couple of dead monkeys before. This is, I think, like the first time we see a living monkey.
Yeah. And she's looking at it. It's just her and the monkey, and she's just smiling.
Camera's on the monkey, then cuts to just a close-up of her face, smiling.
Yeah.
Back to the monkey.
Mm-hmm.
Vaccine number 57. What does she do? She takes it. Yeah,
because in a scene before that, she was on the phone with Lawrence, and she was just talking about pretty much breaking down how long it would take for like human trials to begin.
Right, we're still just testing on monkeys. We gotta get humans to make sure it works.
Right, and then getting a way to distribute the vaccine would take months, and then training people on that procedure would take more months. You know what I mean? It would take a real long time.
And with the R naught increasing, and who knows, the virus could mutate by then anyway.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, she takes it. She takes the vaccine. She does it. And I really like the scene that follows this.
Her dad?
Yeah, because I feel like maybe it's like the scene with the most heart, like between this one and like Kate giving up her coat. It's
not the prom scene.
Not the prom scene.
Not slow dancing to U2.
Nah, but no, there's like, because you like, it's so much insight to her and like her heroics and how she was raised. And you know, the lesson that her father taught her brought her to this moment.
Right. We find out her father's also a doctor.
Yeah.
And he's sick with the virus.
Yeah. And he's sick because he didn't stop treating people.
Yeah, he was one of the last doctors to continue to see people.
Yeah.
Which, that's scary. Mm-hmm. You get this outbreak and then doctors aren't able to see people.
Yeah.
Whew.
Then who's left? Like once doctors go.
So she tests it on her sick dad.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
It's successful. The next thing we see is the shipping containers and like a news report talking about how it's going to be mass produced. But now the question is, how do we distribute it?
Yeah. Who gets it first?
Turns out it's the lottery.
Actually, turns out it's the government officials.
Right.
Yeah.
It's distributed. Yeah. It's distributed to the public through the lottery.
Yeah.
This is how we see the football stadiums that are now vaccination centers. It seems like the football just being so far from like the stadium.
Yeah.
What it's being used for. It's just so far from the culture has been affected so greatly by it.
Yeah. I suppose newborns would be given the shot.
Yes.
Pretty early.
Similar to other vaccines. Yeah. And the last we get of Jennifer Ehley's character is her and Dimitri Martin back in the hazmat suits freezing the vaccine. And we see it's like put in a container
with
next to like SARS and the swine flu,
yes.
H1N1.
Mm-hmm.
And now what was it? MRV?
MEV1.
Yeah,
MEV1.
So she puts it in like the capsule.
Yeah, that's the name they gave it.
It's like put in a cryogenic freezer.
I don't understand the name. Or like why that name exactly.
Science.
Just science.
Do you understand COVID-19?
No.
Yeah. So
okay.
What's the virus in Resident Evil called?
Oh man, I forget.
Okay.
Yeah, I forget.
Like
I just remember the corporation name. I don't
Raccoon City.
Yeah, Raccoon City.
Yeah, sorry, we don't have any Raccoon City in Contagion.
Minneapolis is Raccoon City.
It is?
No, I'm just saying like, in this movie, it's like
sure.
Yeah.
Well, we're not just in Raccoon City or Minneapolis. Yeah, so one of the last things after she freezes the vaccine, we get the prom scene.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not going to end on that.
No.
We're going to end where we take it back to the beginning.
Yeah.
And this sequence I find so exhilarating.
Yeah, it's really well done.
The music comes. We didn't even talk about the score from Cliff Martinez.
Mm-hmm.
Also did. I know him from Drive and Nicholas Winding Refn's movies and Darren Aronofsky's movies. I think he did. I might be confusing him with someone else. Anyway, cool score, pulsating electronic music. And the sequence we see how this all started. And it's a bulldozer with the company Gwyneth Paltrow worked for, AIMM, on the bulldozer. They
knock over
bulldoze a tree, displaces a bunch of bats. And one of the bats we see eat a banana, like a rotten banana or something.
Yeah.
Flies over, somehow finds himself into a
warehouse,
a pigsty.
Yeah, pig slaughterhouse, or whatever. Yeah,
drops a piece of the banana into the pig pen. One of the pig eats the banana, led to slaughter, killed. We're in the kitchen of this casino in Hong Kong where a chef is preparing it.
Yeah, sticking his finger in like the pig's mouth.
Then he's called out. Hey, there's someone important that has to come meet you.
And all he does is
he doesn't wash his hands.
He doesn't wash his hands.
He wipes it on his apron. Now you're someone who deals with meat professionally.
Yeah.
You wash your hands, right?
I wash my hands and then I wear gloves.
Yeah.
The gloves stay on.
Yeah.
So.
And I assume you're not then shaking hands.
No.
But
no, we fist pump. That's what
he leaves. After handling this diseased pig, he wipes his hands on his apron and goes out to meet this important person who is, surprise, Elizabeth M. Hoff, Gwyneth Paltrow. Yeah. They shake hands.
Take a picture.
Picture's taken. It's one of the pictures we saw Matt Damon see on our camera much later. And then we get the title card, day one.
Yeah. It's so good.
So that's how it happened.
Yeah, it's so thrilling. Random acts. Really.
Well, random, but also the human intervention of the natural world. I mean, it's the world fighting back at humans, where it's this corporate power taking down trees, and it's the factory farming of the pigs, and how the food industry, and then that's it's not natural that it would then pigs are then driven all the way to Hong Kong from wherever they were to just all these industries where we as humans exploit natural resources. Yeah.
Hot take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, that's Contagion.
That's it.
We've done some horror movies before. This, because of the current relevance of it, I'd say is the scariest movie we've done.
Yeah. I was watching this and I was just like, there's definitely like horror elements to it, but it's not full on horror.
No, it's definitely just a thriller.
Yeah.
But there's parts of it that will stick with me. I mean, I pretty regularly ride buses, but I've been kind of staying away from them as much as I can. When I do, I try really hard not to touch things with my hands.
Yeah. Yeah, when I'm out in public, I try not to touch my face. I like touch my face a lot when I'm in the house, like after I wash my hands, but like when I'm out.
Yeah, when I walk around, I've been consciously just trying to keep my hands in my pockets as much as I can.
Yeah.
But yeah, scary stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I went outside before we like even started the movie for the second time, and like when I was opening doors, I was like putting my hand inside my coat, like it's like already like psychologically starting to like where I wasn't even concerned about Corona at all, but now I'm just like, well, you know what, things are happening, so let me be careful. Like, let me take these steps real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to the picture.
Yeah. Is it a movie? Or is it a movie? No, is it a movie or is it a film?
Contagion is a very smart movie.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what I'm going with.
With movie?
Though if you think it's a film, you might be able to convince me to change my mind.
Okay. A part of me wants to say movie, but then when I think about like how I decide whether something is like a movie or a film, I always go into like the detail and the nuance of like what is trying to tell us. I feel like this movie does have that nuance to it. So I'm going to go with film, but also like, I like that option of movie film because it also feels like that. It feels like
a movie film because it's just the way it's all cut together. It tells all these different stories, but it's paced so well.
Yeah.
And it's got, I mean, it's a thriller. It's got the thrills of a movie.
It's the genre.
Also, I mean, for me, I guess when I try to decide movie or film, it's about depth.
Mm-hmm.
And how the depth is present in the acting and the directing and the whole thing, the editing, the soundtrack. So maybe it's a film. It's a movie film for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
It's and those are the best ones in my opinion, where it can be viewed as a movie or as a film.
Yeah.
We could really get into the weeds of what it says about humans, humanity. Or we could be like, damn, Gwyneth Paltrow died and had her head cut open.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Contagion.
Right. Yeah.
I'm really glad we don't keep track of what we said for each one because sometimes like what was my, I guess, movie film.
Yeah.
It's a movie film.
It's a movie film.
That's it.
That's it. I'm sticking to it.
Yeah. Let us know what you think if you've watched Contagion recently or if you're scared to watch it or, I don't know, wash your hands.
Yeah.
And then get on your computer or phone and tweet us at MovieFilmPod. Same handle for Facebook and Instagram.
Yes, it is.
Email us, moviefilmpod@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Yes, we would. Also, if you want to see like what we're watching that we're not talking about on the podcast, follow us on Letterboxd. We always update that. What's your Letterboxd like handle?
Ornate Gross.
And mine's is Smooch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Without spelled SMOOCH.
Yeah. It's regular Smooch.
Great.
Right.
Yeah, check that out if we log our watch lists.
Yeah.
And come back next week for a brand new episode of Movie. Film.
Actually, a Smooch with 3 Z's. You want to go watch The Wire?
I'm going to wash my hands
Okay.
first.
All right.
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 Hands
Okay.
first.
All right.